Alright guys, welcome to this page of the notes, and now we're going to get started with looking at graphs of rational functions. Alright, what I'm going to ask you to do here in these problems is first, I need you to be able to identify the asymptotes, both vertical and horizontal asymptotes, and we're going to look at what that means. Then, based on those vertical and horizontal asymptotes, I'll show you, given the graph, how to figure out the domain and the range of the function, and of course we'll do it for the graphs that I've got represented here. Let's just jump right into this. You're going to love these problems. They're so much fun. Here we go. First thing first, right? I'm given the graph of this rational function. All right, the function is actually given to you right here on the graph. F of x is equal to 2 divided by x minus 3. All right, let's identify the horizontal and the vertical asymptotes. All right, here's what I recognize. Take a look at this. This guy shoots off up here, comes down over here. What that means is I'm going to have a vertical asymptote right between those guys. And actually, on my graph and hopefully on yours, it looks like that line is going to occur right at vertical asymptote at x equals 3. Which makes perfect sense, right? Check this out. It's x minus 3. What's going to give you division by 0? A positive 3 will give you division by 0. I just got done telling you on the previous page of the notes, any value that gives you division by 0 will show up on the graph as a vertical asymptote. There it is. Positive 3 gives me division by 0, and look at that. It's a vertical asymptote when we graph the function. Now remember, on the first page of the notes, I told you that the vertical asymptote is going to be the value of h. What this tells me is that h is equal to 3. All right, let's keep going. The horizontal asymptote. Check this out. This guy kind of levels off right here at the x-axis. This guy coming over here levels off right there at the x-axis. It looks like if I were to draw a horizontal asymptote on my graph, hopefully it looks the same on your guys' graph, I would have a horizontal asymptote right there on the x-axis. Horizontal asymptote occurs at y equals 0. Remember, the x-axis is y equals 0. Well, I told you guys on the first page of the notes that the horizontal asymptote is represented by the value of k. Well, since y equals 0 is the horizontal asymptote, that means that k has to be 0. Now, I take a look at the function that you were given. We may see some interesting things here. First of all, I take a look at this guy, and right down here in the bottom, right, I have a minus 3. Well, we know that h, the horizontal shift, is always the opposite. So if this negative 3 in fact is my h, I know that h would do the opposite. If h is a negative 3, I would go 3 units to the right, which is exactly where my vertical asymptote is. So I'm going to venture a guess here and say that that minus 3 is probably the value of h. I don't know, but I'm just going to venture a guess. We'll see if this kind of theory holds true. Since k is 0, well, I don't see zeros in there anywhere, so I'm not really sure what to think about that, but maybe in other problems we'll come across something. Anyway, the domain and range was the point here. From this graph, we're going to write the domain and the range. Remember, domain is all values of x that are allowed. Well, all the values of x that are allowed is going to be all real numbers except for what is undefined. What gives you division by 0? Well, I have division by 0 when x is equal to 3. So that is the only value that is excluded. That is the only value that is not allowed. So the domain is going to be negative infinity to 3. Parenthesis means not included. And then union that with 3 to positive infinity. What that tells me is you can pick any value of x you want to down here. You can pick any value of x you want to up here. Anything negative, anything positive, you just can't pick x equal to 3, and that's what the domain tells me. Same thing for the range, but because we read left to right on a page, we also read top to bottom. So be careful when it comes to the range. I started with negative infinity in the domain because that's what's to the left. I read left to right. But on a page, we read top to bottom. And on a graph, positive infinity is at the top. So the range is going to be a little bit different in interval notation. Everything starting up here at positive infinity is okay. Positive infinity all the way down to the only y value that is not allowed. My horizontal asymptote is at y equals 0. So my range values can be anything except y equals 0. Why can't it be 0? Well, because I have a horizontal asymptote there. And remember we said a horizontal asymptote is a line that your graph approaches but will never touch. Certainly is never equal to. So y is the excluded value in the range in this case. Positive infinity to 0, union 0 to negative infinity. That is reading the graph top to bottom, and the horizontal asymptote will tell you what value in the range is excluded. The vertical asymptote will tell you what value in the domain is excluded. All right, we will try a few more of these example problems here on this page of the notes. I'll meet you guys there.